Welcome to the Pop-Off with FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is April 24th, Monday, April 24th, and we just had a great weekend of basketball. My camera is way off. Nobody reminded me. I look like a floating head. Great weekend of basketball, guys. How was your weekend, Caleb? Do we have a delay? Can you hear us?
Oh, that's a good way of.
There we, we'll start. Can you hear us now?
Hear anything?
There you go. So joining me, I'm Gene, obviously, and joining me is Caleb, Nigel, and Allie today. Caleb, how was the weekend? Some good basketball, right?
Yeah, basketball, great fight weekend, everything.
I missed the fight. I wasn't able to see it, but I saw OBJ was there. Gave his jersey, his new Ravens jersey out. What about you, Nigel? Catch any of the games this weekend?
Oh my goodness. I could not leave the screen, anywhere I was. I had to look for a screen because the games were, I loved the whole weekend. I loved it. I'm also a soccer fan. I know we don't talk much soccer here. We're going to. We will. Yeah, it was very stressful for me as well. I'm an Arsenal guy. I've been a Gunner guy from time. Shout out to my boy, Thierry Henry. But that game too was ridiculous. But anyways, it was a good weekend all in all, my guy.
Great. Before we get to Allie real quick, can I just say I love the hat? This is my
favorite hat. I did a few, bro.
Thank you. Up 3-1.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at that.
And you know what? And RJ Barrett, we'll talk a little bit about him, but RJ Barrett's starting to step up. So there's some guys coming that were missing in the beginning of the series that are starting to step up. But from one New York sports team, basketball NBA team to another, I go to Allie. Allie, I am sorry. I'm sorry. I was hoping you guys would make it a series.
Yeah, back to Thierry Henry. Great guy. Used to play for the Red Bulls. I'm kidding. Yeah, listen. Was it upsetting? Yes. Was it an extremely close first home game? Yes. And even both times at home, it's like the same thing we've been seeing the whole series. I wasn't surprised. It's so close. It's so close. Even the Nets are leading. And then it's like down to the last 5 minutes, 8 minutes. 76ers get this energy that I feel like they're waiting to bring out in that moment. And honestly, respect to them for doing it that way. That's how they do it. That's how they get it done. I lost a little respect for Embiid after, I don't know if you guys saw on Thursday night's game. That was absolutely crazy. And to see it all live, going down in front of me, I'm like, wait a second, how is he not getting ejected for this? Like, it pissed me off so much. And then Harden was out, and then now Embiid has this injury, and it's like, whatever. I don't even care anymore. I'm with you, Nigel. Go Knicks. I'm done for right now.
It was the weekend of the nut shot. It seems like everybody got hit in the nuts this weekend. So let's get into it. Let's that's what the weekend was, right? Let's start over there. Let's go. Let's start with my hometown Knicks going up 3-1, beating the Cavs 102-93. Nigel, so you got the net cap on. We'll start with you. What do you think about the game this weekend with them?
It was good, man. It was exciting. It was really it got the score doesn't really show how exciting the game was, I think. Right. I was like flipping around, and I just found myself mesmerized by the game as a whole, man. I feel good about your Knicks, bro. I feel good about your Knicks. I think they seem like a team. They seem like they're playing at the top of their game. However, that being said, they need to find more levels. Like, they need to keep going, because it's going to be a struggle after this. The Cavs both of these teams are in a really great zone. They're in a really fun place right now, but I don't think neither of them are conference champions or like conference semifinals. Like, it's very first round, but it's exciting first round. I mean, that's all that stuff I said is very broad, because I know we're going to get into the minutia of it. but it was fun, and it also gave me an excuse to wear my hat because I knew I was going to wear it for you one day. So and I've got a couple of them. So I know you're an aficionado, and I know you like your OG blue. Don't worry, I got you. I love
it. Listen, both teams need to do better from three, right? Both teams shot under 30% from 3-point range. Not a good night from behind the arc. But are we watching Jalen Brunson grow up and become a star before our very eyes, Caleb? I mean, he 29, 6 and 6 yesterday as a point guard, taking over the game. I mean, he does some nasty things with the ball and off the dribble. What do we think about this kid growing up? I mean, is he now becoming a star?
Oh, yeah, he already is. And he's just proven it. He's proven it now. So what I would say is he's ridiculous. Like, his game, his style, like he's a true point guard, but he can score, right? So he's really, really, really vital to that Knicks team. But I agree with Nigel. I mean, they're going to win, and that's it. They won the first round. They can say at least we sent Donovan home. That's it.
I think we're one more player away from being a team that goes deeper into the playoffs myself. I'll admit that.
Yeah. You need a real superstar in there because Julius Randle is good, not great. You need somebody that's great to help Brunson. Brunson is great at the point. He needs another person in there, and then that Knicks squad is going to be crazy. Like, you know what I mean? But they need one more superstar level, or not even superstar level, but star level, right? Because you could do it with a lot of stars. The Pistons showed us that. No superstars, all stars, and won a title against the superstar-filled Lakers. You know what I mean? So it's definitely possible. Possible.
Would have Donovan Mitchell been that guy then, Alex?
Yes, 1,000%. That's why they were trying to do it. But not to get rid. But listen, they didn't let Mr. Barrett go, and I don't want to be disrespectful. But I mean, come on, he's not Donovan Mitchell. Like, they should have made that trade. The Knicks would be making more. They would be more of a
He's
threat.
not getting the support he needs for sure.
It's just
RJ Barrett has had the last 2 games has stepped up, has played better than he's played all year. Career games for him compared to what he's done all year. Thing is, though, and I don't know if Allie got to listen to any of the sports talk radio last night. I was listening to the radio on New York, and we, as Allie will tell you, if she ever listens to WFAN, it is Overreaction City on WFAN.
Yes, I kind of love it though.
I do too. I'm here for it. But we had people, and even some of the announcers, some of the talk show hosts last night on the Fan saying that this is the beginning of a great RJ Barrett run. This is where he became an all-time Knick yesterday. It's like pump the brakes. He had 2 big games. And he was silent for pretty much the whole season. But can we continue? Do you think we can continue to see RJ Barrett step up for the rest of the series and into the next round?
Well,
go ahead, Allie. No, I mean, the Cavs are kind of slipping right now. If Garland doesn't step up, the second best player who's been slipping, if he doesn't step up, then I feel really good about the Knicks. Even though, Mitchell needs more support, but RJ Barrett is like, I'm feeling good. And like Nigel said, this is a very first series, flow. So we'll see what happens after this, but I do feel good for the Knicks for sure.
What were you going to say, Caleb? I'm sorry.
No, what I was going to say is exactly the same thing. Like, pump the brakes on Barrett. Okay, he had 2 good games. He's a professional. He's supposed to be consistently having good games. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. It's like when you hear a dad say, "I take care of my kids." It's like, duh, that's what you're supposed to do. Like it's a big deal that this guy had a good game. It's like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
exactly.
He's a pro. He makes millions and millions of dollars to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's ridiculous. So to me, great. If you really want to prove something, do something in the next series. We'll see then. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
I'm gonna go the opposite way because my boy from Toronto, Canada, give him his flowers, give him more. I mean, the New York market is ruthless. Y'all are relentless up there, and it's so bananas to me how fast you can go either way. North or south of a player, depending on how they play in one game. And sometimes those games don't even matter, but like the amount of like energy and gusto that you fans spend is bananas. I love it, but I also would not want to be that player playing in New York. That's one of those cities where I'm like, I love to visit, don't want to live there, man, because it's wild out there. And like, like Caleb was saying, RJ, my boy, he's making millions of dollars. And when you convert it in Canadian dollar, I mean, he's a multi-billionaire. Well, not really, actually. Our dollar's not doing great, so he should keep it in an account. But I mean, I just hope that this does elevate his game, elevates the team. And also, again, let's talk about the future, because we both know, all four of us know that this series is for the drama. That's all it's for. This series is just for the drama. The matchup was perfect. You can't write it. So you know what? Let's make sure that when your Knicks step out of this, whenever that tournament is, whenever they step out of the tournament, then okay, let's next year, let's come out flying, man.
So my question is this, Caleb: what does Cleveland need to do to extend the series to a Game 6?
Win Game 5.
How can they do that? How can they do that?
You know what? It's they have to play more as a team and less like. And Donovan has to trust his teammates a little more, because I feel like he's pushing it, like he feels like he needs to do it because he's Donovan Mitchell, and I understand it, but he has to incorporate his team. He has to use them more. They have to come together as a team and play. And now, granted, he hasn't been there like the entire time. Like they're still one season, like him being there. You know what I mean? So it takes time to really gel and learn to trust, but he don't have that time now. I think he's going to have to utilize his teammates and still get off where he needs to. So that's the hard part, because some people know how to get off, but they don't know how to incorporate. LeBron is one of the best to ever know to know how to get off and still bring his team in. That's what Donovan has to do. He has to do his best LeBron impersonation and try to still be able to get 28, 29, 30 points, but have your teammates all in double figures, or at least two of them in double figures, and the others in the high singles. You know what I mean? And you could do something, especially with high rebounds and defense. Like they're just gonna need that. But again, the Knicks are the better team. So you know what I mean? It's like they're pretty much done. Donovan can give you one game where he scores 145 points, but if you lose 146 to 145, there's that.
There you go. Now, Allie, what do the Knicks need to do to close it out in Game 5?
I don't know, but Darius Garland can just continue to keep playing the way he's been playing, and the Knicks will close it out.
He had one good game, and other than that, he's been a really big disappointment. And I was nervous in that game, because I thought that would have been the start of him getting on track and really like doing some damage. That game Game 2, the game they won, shows you the game they won is when he was actually really, really effective. If he's more effective, this might be a totally different series. This might be a 2-2, or maybe even an opposite 3-1 if Darius Garland steps up like we thought he could have, and like he did in Game 2. All right, so on to the next game.
I'm sorry. I just want to let everybody know who is living in downtown Toronto. Make sure you have your umbrellas and put your snow pants on, because it's hailing outside. There's large flakes outside. It is what time we got Eastern time, right? It is 12:13 Eastern time, and the weather is ridiculous. I was wondering what the noise was. I could hear it. And I was afraid you guys could too.
I don't hear it, but
throwing rocks outside. Anyways, continue.
How big would the hail be? You would say like a marble?
Yeah. Can you show us?
Yeah, I don't think I'm too far from my window, but
okay, fair.
It's nuts right now. I'm sorry, continue.
All right, ready. All right, 76ers complete the net sweep, 96 with the 96-88 win. We'll start with Allie, because that's her team.
All right, listen, I predicted really at least. Go. I just want to rip this off like a Band-Aid.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's why I figured let you go first, get it out of the way.
No, there's not much to say. We had quite an interesting season, to put it nicely. And although I'm proud to continue to work with this organization, and I love everyone that I work with, and I love whatever, I don't, love what was happening on the court. And I feel like it could have played out differently had Embiid been ejected when he should have been. But whatever. We had so many players that were just so great, but for some reason, the way, like I said earlier, that the Sixers came out at the end with all this kind of like hidden energy, and they've been consistent with that. Holy shit, Nigel, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's April.
What is happening? Anyway, it was nuts. It was very up and down. It was, you know, and I would have loved just one win, just one. And we were so freaking close both times, especially Thursday. And then all of a sudden, you know, again, like Embiid with this injury, which now there's a 50% chance of him even returning at all, like for the next series. And like what happened, I almost feel like, I don't know, we can get into some conspiracy stuff, but I feel like the NBA was like, oh, you need to like step back a little because you were clearly favored, you know, in what he was able to get away with. So I don't know. It's all good. We'll regroup and hopefully go back to baseline and hopefully have a much stronger, consistent season next year, which would be wonderful, and see what happens. But the fact that we even made it to playoffs, one of 16 teams, I'm super proud of them. So got to give them the credit that they do deserve, having gone through so many changes and so many ups and downs this season. So yeah, you know, whatever. And I'm done looking at the 76ers. I'm done talking about Embiid as freaking MVP. I'm done. I'm going over to Paul. I'm going over the Suns with Paul. He can be MVP. He deserves it. I'm done with the East right now.
Well, you know what? The Nets played tough the first half, both games. They were up. I think they were tied in the first half and the first one in Brooklyn. They were up 8 in the second one, in game 4. I'll tell you what. I thought the Sixers looked sloppy yesterday, and yet they still pull out the win. Nobody really had a huge game. Maxey off night, 6 of 20. You know, so Melton was decent off the bench, I guess, but even Harden, sloppy night, 4 of 18, 17 points. Harris was the one that had the game where he stepped up, 25 and 12, the former Long Islander. Do we think, you know, Caleb, with the bad press that I think the league got with the Draymond Green suspension, how a lot of people thought it was an unfair suspension, could that have been a reason why maybe they were a little soft on Embiid?
No, they were on soft on Embiid and Dylan Brooks because they don't have a history of being dirty. Draymond Green has a history of being dirty, period. So that's why he was suspended. It was mainly by past transgressions. So with that being said, once you know, if you're a felon, when something goes wrong, guess where the police ask first? You, because you've been to prison. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. So Draymond is always going to get it worse. Embiid is not known as a dirty player. He hardly ever has these kinds of infractions. So they're not going to suspend the potential MVP over something he hardly ever does. And it wasn't like intentional.
But ejection would have been nice.
Right. Now you could have done that. And, you know, they may have won the game. Maybe not. But the point is, it's not going to impact the series. What they did with Draymond could have potentially impacted the series had Golden State lost that game. Now it's a wash because now it's 2-2 and now, you know, it's done. But they could have. But again, the same reason why Dylan Brooks he was ejected, but he's not suspended because he doesn't have a history of being a dirty player. You know what I mean? So that's the only difference with Draymond compared to the other two doing a similar infraction. So I think the league got it right.
Now, Allie, refresh my memory. Who was the net that got his, you know, got kicked?
Nick Claxton, number
Nick
33.
Claxton, that's it. Nick Claxton. Now, we all remember back in the day when Allen Iverson used to love to step over people. Nigel, do you think it could be considered disrespectful in the league when you step over somebody? Do you think that maybe that's another reason why the league didn't decide to like either suspend or even eject? Because hey, Nick Claxton did kind of disrespect first by the walkover. I mean, what do you think?
Sometimes
you
when
see the replay though.
What's that?
No, I was gonna say the replay though. It wasn't really a walkover. I wouldn't say.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is like sometimes, to your point, Ali, is like I think what you were getting at is that there's no other way to get out of that situation other than to walk over the player, like in terms of the way they fall, the way that everybody's position. It's when they start looking back or looking down, or that like that's the moment for me where you're like, oh, this was for sure intentional. Because there's a moment we've all done a thing or made a move or whatever that thing is, a gesture where there's intent behind it. And I think when you're talking about basketball, when we're talking about walking over somebody after it's a dunk or after a block or after a steal, something like that, you know that that's intentional for sure. This one I feel like was a little bit of safety and also just happenstance, like they just happen to be positioned. But then there was a little bit of a glance down, like a little bit of a glance down That's the thing. And in ball, man, you know better. In most sports, to be honest with you, any contact sport, when you're walking over a person, you're showing your dominance by walking over them. You're showing them that you just did that. Look at me. Now you're looking up at me. So it's a dangerous game to play. And I mean, you got to be careful, man, because that can come back and bite you.
But I think I love it. I think we need more of that. Like, I'm tired of this softness and all this niceness, these niceties in sports.
I love in the 90s when people used to they would tear each other's heads off in the 90s.
Yeah, and it's
I
like, you should taunt. You should be able to taunt. You should be able to. Like, it's a game and you're good at it. You're doing something like one of my favorite dunks of all time is Scottie Pippen on Patrick Ewing and just putting all his family business right there in his face, right there looking down at him. Like, what? Right? Like, that's the greatest thing ever. And then walking over to Spike Lee, and I know it's not a good memory for you, Gene, but walking over to Spike saying, sit your ass down. Right? Like, yeah, that's what I want to see in sports. I like Bryce Harper hitting it, making it go yard and flipping the bat at the pitcher. Like, don't you ever throw me that BS again. Like, yeah, all this crying like, oh, that's disrespectful. What, because it hurts your sensitive sensibilities? It hurts your feelings? You want a participation trophy because you tried? You know what I mean? The We Try Harder award. Get out of here. I'm so sick of softness. You know what I mean? Like, allow it to be competition. If you don't like competition, don't play the game. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
And it's perfect what you said, because if even as fans, I feel like we look back on when AI used to do it routinely, it seemed like it was looked upon as like, yeah. And I don't know, maybe because he was a smaller guy, maybe that's why we kind of looked at it as a little differently back then. It was almost like a David and Goliath thing. He's always one of the smallest guys on the court, not the smallest guy on the court. Maybe that's why we look at it, remember it kind of fondly. But I don't remember having a problem when AI did it back in the 90s and the early 2000s, to be honest with you.
Well, because people liked it. People still like it. So you mean to tell me Michael Jordan is not taunting you, sticking his tongue out?
Or closing his eyes for a free throw? Didn't he do that?
Right? Whatever that may be. He's not, right? Like, Kobe used to taunt them all the time. Larry Bird was a taunter.
Reggie Miller.
It makes it makes the competition that much better. And let me tell you something. They can act like the Warriors are all soft. Steph Curry taunts you all the time. This thing in your face to the sideline, he's clowning you. He just hit the shot in your face, even leaving it up and turning around and walk. That's all taunting. You know what I mean? So I think it should be there. I like it, and I'm all for it. I want to see more of it.
With the caveat, though, all of those fantastic Hall of Famer players that you mentioned, those are the guys doing it to the other dudes, and the other dudes nobody knows of. Other than the Scottie, specifically the example you gave me with Scottie and Ewing, I get it. Like, and there's more of those examples. But I'm saying when you have a nobody, listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate. When you have like a nobody, or you have like middle tier, or in my universe, in the Marvel universe, we call it like a B or a C list character,
right?
Walk over like your A-listers. That's when it's a problem. That's when for some reason, not me, but for some reason, the league is like, you can't do that to
they got to stop
face
that.
of the franchise. Am I wrong?
You're making the big guys. No, you're not. You're right. Yeah, and they're making the A-listers seem weak. Like, let me tell you, one of my favorite it was a rivalry, but you wouldn't think about it because it's Kobe Bryant versus a guy named Raja Bell.
Oh yeah.
And he called himself the Kobe Stopper. Kobe said, "What?" And started every time they played the Suns. He was going at Raja Bell made himself into a household name by challenging Kobe Bryant and got himself a nice deal the next time his deal came up. That was it. That was all he got. But he did earn that by just going at Kobe Bryant, and nobody knew who the hell Raja Bell was. He even got his own bell tone when he started doing something. Boom, boom, right? So you can make your name.
Actually.
You can make your name off of somebody else by challenging them and stepping up. Dylan Brooks could have did it had he not got kicked out. Like he didn't just being on LeBron. If he stayed in the whole game and LeBron never scores 40. He could say, I don't care if y'all won. He didn't get 40. And I told you he won. Like, you're winning. Yeah, he would get an endorsement deal after that. Like, that's what happens, right? So I'm all for them poking the bears as to speak. Like somebody needs to go at KD. You know what I mean? Go at Chris Paul. Go at these dudes. Like that's how you're gonna earn your stripes and get yourself in there. That's what a guy. I'm sorry, I'm just going on a little rant right.
No, go ahead.
Back what was the cornerback that used to play for the Redskins? I'm thinking of the brother. He
Champ Bailey?
Huh?
Champ Bailey?
No. That's old.
Are you talking about Cousins?
Homeboy. Oh God.
When Kirk Cousins played for them?
Yeah. What was his name? He was I'm blanking. I'm
gonna
find out.
He's on the Panthers? Norman?
Yeah, and he went to the Panthers.
Norman.
Yes, Norman. Josh Norman, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He would start calling out receivers. That's how he got known. Like
him and OBJ battled all the time.
He said, "I'm gonna shut him down." Like, just put Sauce Gardner is the man by just wearing a diamond chain with a hot sauce bottle on it and saying he's the man, and then goes out there and balls. Like, I'm telling you, all it takes is your mouthpiece, and you can get it. So I'm all for it. I want to see more of it. Stop respecting these stars. That's why they don't play. You should be calling Kawhi a chump, saying you scared to play. That's why your knee hurting. Which one is it? You know, which back muscle did you pull tomorrow? Well, yesterday or whatever. Like, call these dudes out, and that's how you'll get on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and a new generation can come up.
You know, we'll talk about the Kawhi thing in a little bit. I mean, even if you've even seen this weekend, Stephen A. Smith was like, "Dude, maybe it's just time to retire. Maybe it's time to wrap it up." And we'll get into that in a minute.
They said he's having some family issues right now.
Well, I know he's got his.
You heard, right, about his sister?
Yeah, they said.
But he also tweaked the knee though that he had the injury from last year, so it might be a little bit of both. We'll talk on that in a minute. But you know, let's bring up our first debatable topic because it actually has to do with the Nets. What do the Nets need to do to turn this around and to basically make? I feel like they have a team of really good Robins. They have a couple of good Robins. They have a bunch of good role players. They might be a star away from being a competitive team in the East. They obviously still made the playoffs without their stars. Mm-hmm. At times look good with the Sixer team against the Sixer team.
Yeah.
Allie, we'll start with you. What do they need to do? What can they change this offseason to make them to take that next step?
Hopefully not much, because we had so many changes that I feel like there hasn't been a full season or enough time for everybody to really gel and really flow. And like you said, the fact that without any Batmans, they've been able to make it to the playoffs. They've been able to be neck and neck with the Sixers for at least 50% of every game. So, not much. I think like less is more when it comes to change for us next year, because we started with a different coach, right? Like we really need one season of consistency and one season of almost like minimal changes for us. I feel like for us to be able to thrive and really play with each other in a way that like would be with or without a Batman. Like I just think they need more time. Coach with everybody with what they have right now to just keep being the same and really play with what they have. Like we all know like what they're capable of, right? But let's just continue to see what they have. And then I don't know, like if they get, I mean, I don't know who would be someone like if they get their Batman or whatever, or even like.
Can I say who I think they need to go after? They need to go hard.
For sure.
I think they need to go hard after Dame Lillard. I think Dame Lillard. I think. I was
just in an elevator with him, and I was like, it's kind of
well, that's
weird.
Well, now you get to be the chance to be in the whole in an elevator with them even more often. Although I don't know if your fiance would be okay with that being what you just said.
I had to turn around the ring and be like, Damian, stop hitting on me, like
But I think
he did not acknowledge me, and I did not even like look his way.
But I think he would be the perfect. I mean, listen, he'd be the perfect fit for like 99% of the teams in the league, right? I mean, he'd be the perfect fit anywhere.
Of course.
But to have a point guard of that caliber there with some of the other guys they have with the Brooklyn Bridges, with the Cam Johnson, they may be an adequate big man away, but they add him there. They were a 6 seed. And again, they had their stars for part of the season. That's probably why they were a 6 seed. They might not be able to maintain that otherwise. But I think with Dame Lillard and the other pieces that they have, they could easily be a 4 or 5 seed. I think they could be finish a little better than they have this year. But Nigel, what do you got?
Listen, man, the Nets are in a tough division. Like the Atlantic is no joke, right? The Atlantic division is almost like my Jays with us in like New York and Boston, and like there's all these teams that any given moment, in any given season, can come up and boom and have at it. Like it's a dangerous conference, dangerous league. So I think what the Nets need to do is they need to go on a retreat. They all need to just go away for a second. They all need to like cleanse and
different retreat because I need to not be next to anybody that I work with.
Right? They just need to a hard reset. So along the lines of what Ali's saying, they just need a reset, and I think it might be a little ambitious to hope that there won't be little shakeups and stuff during the season. And I think they'll still be cohesive. They'll become a team, but there's got to be things that's going to happen because they just went through this trauma. This is a big deal. All the banana stuff that went over this season with like demands of a trade and just like the things that Kyrie said, and it's like, KD just like not really saying anything, and then out of nowhere he's like, this is ridiculous. Like it just a lot of things with these big stars. And so I think that the team, the organization just needs to take a deep breath and just look to the future and look peacefully into the future, get an asset or assets that they can, dump a couple and then pick up some really decent ones that can so they can just tread water for a bit. I think they just need to just tread, man, for a bit. Because I think this playoff, this run for them, I think it exhausted everybody. Yeah. I think everybody's tired. Even though it was a sweep, they're all tired. They need rest.
Emotionally, if anything.
1,000%. That's my take.
Caleb, what do you got?
I like the Dame Lillard idea. I just don't think Dame is an option because if he leaves Portland, he wants to go to a contender. He wants to be able to win. If he's gonna leave, because he's been planting his flag on loyalty. So if he's gonna leave, he's leaving for a spot where he can win. But he doesn't want to super team it. So he's in a like he said he don't want to go play with LeBron in LA. LeBron was trying to get him there for 2 seasons. He's like, nope, not me. Right. So it would be interesting. I think that would be a big help for the Nets, but they would need one more piece. They would need one more piece besides Dame. Now, if Dame went to the Knickerbockers, that is something completely different. You move Dame from the 1 to the 2. You let him be a straight shooting guard where all you have to do is score and let Brunson keep Brunson at the point. Tragedy. That's a team you don't want to play. Like that makes them. Yeah, they are competitive now. They're in the Sixers, Milwaukee, Celtics, make you sweat box at that point.
You see how Caleb just made me smile so nicely?
It made me jealous. I got weird. I was like, they better not take him over the Nets. And I'm like, Ali, this is all hypothetical.
This is all hypothetical, but I got so happy when you said that.
No, but if you think about it,
would be great. It would be great.
Think about it, a team where he could get the credit, and not go. It's like, oh, you with KD, oh, you're with LeBron, oh, you're with Steph, oh, you're with Giannis. Versus, oh shit, okay, Dame, because he would immediately be the biggest star on the team, and immediately.
Yeah.
So now it's his team, right? So he would get credit if they win. It was like what happened with Kawhi in Toronto. Toronto is a fantastic team. You just add Kawhi, now they become a championship team. You know what I mean? So the pieces were already there. All he had to do was show up. So I think the Knicks are in that kind of space. And I know we're supposed to be talking about the Nets. I think the Nets are further off. Even with a Dame, they still need another piece before I think they could be competitive in that upper tier of the Eastern Conference, just in my opinion.
Do we think Jacques Vaughn is the answer at coach?
Yeah. You know what? I would say you got to give him at least one more season. So
I like him, to be honest with you. I think he's got a good command of the locker room.
Yeah, I think it's just yes. I would say yes. Keep him there. Give him some good ingredients and see what type of casserole he can make.
I agree. I think he's got a good pulse of that locker room. I think the players enjoy playing for him. He's not an overly player coach, but he's also not an overly disciplinarian. He's kind of rides that fine line, which is hard to do as a coach. And I think he does a great job. And he also listen. He was a smart player when he did play. I think he's perfect. I think he's got the perfect temperament to be a coach, especially in New York, where it's hard. I mean, I will tell you, it's hard to be a coach in New York, man. I mean, it is everywhere, but like that New York media, we talked about it a little bit earlier. That New York media is tough. I think he's got the perfect temperament to be able to handle coaching in the Northeast. So I think he's a guy I roll with if I'm on the Nets, and I try to get him some, like you said, the ingredients that he needs to move forward with and go with that. So, all right. So let's get on to our next topic. Lakers go up 2-1, beating the Grizzlies 111-101. Caleeb, give me your did they even have a shot, the Grizzlies?
Yeah, they do. I think they do. They could win the next game in Memphis because Ja came back and he went for 40, didn't he?
45 and
45.
13 assists. He didn't just, he also passed the ball. Yeah.
With that hand. Come on, man. Like, of course they can. The issue was Dylan Brooks didn't hold up his end. Like, getting ejected. Like, you got to have more than 7 points when you call out LeBron. And if you're going to have if you're going to have 7 points, you got to have 20 rebounds, 5 steals, 6 blocks. Like, you got to do something on the other side of the ball, like to make it he chirped too loud to be getting ejected from a game, and the Lakers are up. What was it? It was like 39-8 or something at one point. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, so I think that loss is more on him, but that game is over and done with. They'll play. I think they play tonight in Memphis, and there you go. So it's a new slate. Lakers are up 2-1. They can come, and if they win the first game in Memphis, there you go. Like, they win that game in Memphis, we're back and rolling. So yeah, I don't think that they're out. I thought that they were, but I was wrong. I can make mistakes. I can have an opinion, and it's wrong. And so I was wrong about Memphis. So I think Memphis wins it tonight. If the Lakers win, of course, it's over. But I don't think so. I think Memphis is going to win tonight.
You know what? I think the Lakers actually pull this one out. I mean, listen, if AD can give you 31 and 17, now I know that's he's got to stay healthy for that. But 31 and 17, they're going to win 100% of those games if he gives you 31 and 17 with everything everybody else does. And let me another question, Nigel. Did it look accidental? And you know what I'm talking about. It looked like almost like it damn near looked like he was balled up and through the fist. I mean, like, did it look accidental to you?
I mean, it looked like a lot of different things because it kind of looked accidental. But then if you follow where LeBron is going with the ball and the way that Brooks turns, it didn't seem like Brooks was like, oh, it missed a step and his arm just kind of, the momentum just swung his arm. Mm-hmm. It looked halfway. So it's really hard to determine. I mean, and plus if you're spotlighted backcourt like that, like it was just them two, because LeBron just got the inbound. So it's like, do we really think that Brooks is going to do that intentionally when it's just them two right there? Like, you know, maybe it would be off a pick and roll or something like that. So I don't know, man. It's hard to say, but after you've been shooting your mouth off so hard and just like and bringing so much heat on yourself in a way that's definitely pumped up your team, pumped up, you know, your squad, your nation. You make a move like that, man, the refs aren't going to even get a bat an eyelash, which we saw. They're like, no, I think you just bit off more than you can chew. To Caleb's point, I think he just spoke too hard, man. And then it just came back and got him. I mean, but let's also talk about LeBron milking it a bit. I mean, listen.
Oh, definitely.
I was like, oh, wait, did I just turn to the soccer channel real quick? What happened here? What's going on?
It was almost as bad as Sabonis.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it was a little aggressive. But I mean, I don't think Brooks was intentionally doing it. At the end of the day, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was definitely accidental. It's you slow things down, you break it down, you can find whatever you want. But I know for a fact that LeBron is now going for, he's won one Oscar, so who knows? He can probably go for next one, I think.
I mean, it was definitely the start, I think, that the Lakers were looking for too. 35-9, they outscored them in the first period.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It set the tone. I mean, we even spoke about it that night. Nigel was like, "Did we get off the plane?" You can't allow the Lakers to jump out that far. Like,
you can't allow any team to do that.
Fair enough, but and they listen, and to their credit, they made it a game towards the end. Like, they lost by 10 points. They had that third quarter, I think the fourth quarter, where they actually won, and they went up big. But Allie, what do you think they need to do going forward in tonight's game to really kind of even the series?
I just want to quickly talk about Brooks and LeBron.
Go ahead, right ahead. Yeah,
because. Yeah, he's a shit talker. He's open about, to players and media, specifically about LeBron's being old and how he doesn't respect him. And then we talked about how LeBron definitely milked it a little. I love that you said it was similar to soccer, Nigel. Every single time I see something, I'm like, guys, come on. Nobody touched you. And they're like, oh, I'm like, relax. Like, I can't. Please, no more stoppage time. I want to go home. So it's just like, kind of like that feeling of had Brooks two parts. Had Brooks not been such a shit talker specifically about and to LeBron, part one, and part two, had, maybe had that not happened, would LeBron have milked it, or would he have been more like, oh, it was a mistake? Like, do you feel like LeBron kind of fell into milking it more to be like, you're going to call me old? You're going to call, like, not respect me? Like, I have the power here. Like, I'm going to milk this and I'm going to like get you out. Like, I don't know. I feel like could that have affected anything?
I think it did a lot. LeBron's the face of the NBA essentially. So it's like, oh, how dare you hurt LeBron? And we heard all the mean things you said about him. You know what I mean? It reminds me of the movie White Chicks when Marlon Wayans is at the beach and they're making fun of him. And he says, hey, you thought I had to get on my butt? Break down in tears because he remembers he's a woman and I started doing all that. That's what it felt like with LeBron. Like, you soft, like, shut up. Like,
that's so good, Caleb.
Dillon Brooks went for the punch out. A lot of players, they ball their fist to hit the ball out. Football players do it. I see basketball players do it. So he saw, like Nigel said, the way LeBron was going with the ball. LeBron's not a dummy. He saw what Dillon was about to do. So he moved the ball. So Dillon goes for it. The ball isn't there. He hit the other ball. You know what I mean? He hit the other ones on accident. It wasn't on purpose. And it's like, to the degree that he hit him, did you guys see where he did? It was at the bottom part of those baggy shorts, look like cross-color shorts. I know LeBron is 6'8", 260, but
he's got long balls. He's got long balls.
I doubt LeBron's hanging like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the old Kirby Enthusiasm episode. Long ball Larry. Just long ball LeBron.
If you was, you'd be posing all the time with no, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop with all that. So anyway, I doubt he even touched him. I think it was in the area. I agree with Nigel. LeBron put on the acting thing and did what he was supposed to do and got Dillon out. Like, that's part of the game by getting people ejected. If you do the thing to get Draymond ejected, like, that's part of the game. It's all part of it. You know what I mean? So I think LeBron mastered that and got Dillon out, and Dillon didn't fall for it. He went for a steal, missed it, and ended up hitting the man in the private area, and it cost him his place because he's not a superstar, and it looked like you attacked our face.
Yes.
Got to do something.
Especially after what he said the other day. It almost made it, and he even touched on himself. He goes, listen, I'm a villain now because of what I said. Everyone looks at me like a villain, and that's gonna take the toll on how the refs look at him too. And I think that might have been that. I think that might kind of like what Caleb was saying. I think that's what took place with him with the refs. I'm not surprised he didn't get suspended though. I think it's fair enough that he didn't get suspended. Let these guys play.
You don't get suspended for that.
So whether or not he did hit LeBron or not, like actually make contact, we'll never know. I guess the only one that can really prove would be Savannah.
We need to go back to just playing the sport. Like, just do what you are being paid to do. Like, just literally play basketball as if you are in the playoffs, and it matters because it does. Like, that's what both teams need to do, because they're up 2-1. So of course it's the Lakers. Like, we know what they're capable of, but the Grizzlies being home now, giving them.
I think they're in LA tonight, I believe, actually.
Oh, they're in LA tonight,
and then next game they're back in Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, then if they're at home, I think the Lakers
then they're gonna win.
So me too. Yeah, I think the Lakers will win it at home. Like,
me too. I think it's still going the way I had the series. I had the Lakers going up. I had them winning in Game 6. So the Lakers win this one. Memphis maybe wins at home.
It's a must-win for Memphis tonight, though.
Oh, for sure, though. It is.
It's a must-win. I didn't know. I forgot it was in LA. It's a must-win. They cannot go down 3-1.
I think they will, though. But I think they'll come within a game next time in Memphis. I think they pull out the Memphis game. But then I think
then that's it.
Then that's it. Yeah, and I think LA takes it on there before Game 6. All right, next one. He take advantage of no Giannis, go up 2-1. Who was surprised about this, Caleb? I know you were like, the Bucks should be able to roll out of bed and win this. Miami's missing people too. Surprised?
Yeah.
I was surprised that Miami is doing this, but again, they're all professional players and they're motivated to win. And it's like they want to beat you. And what happens is sometimes when you know you're supposed to win, you think the other team is just supposed to. They agree and say y'all supposed to win, and they play like you're supposed to win.
Right.
Miami is not playing that way. They're playing to win. So the Bucks have to play. The Bucks have the better team. I don't care if Miami won that last game. The Bucks have the better team. They should be winning. Does it mean that they will? No, obviously, but they should. Now, the next
Giannis
game
is back, right?
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well,
right?
Now,
Okay.
Now he has to come back.
Yeah.
Right? Because they can't go down 3-1.
Yeah, they don't want to mess around with these guys right now at this point.
Yeah, so it's a trip. I can't believe, and it makes me have less faith in Milwaukee going forward. If they beat Miami, right? You're not beating the Celtics with that kind of mentality. I'm telling you now.
Mm-hmm.
You will be at home watching the Celtics in the NBA Finals if you play like that. And they got to get past Miami, so they can't even think about Celtics, Sixers, none of that. They need to get past Miami. Being down 2-1 to that team is ridiculous, to be honest.
Jimmy Butler's doing Jimmy Butler things. Can he maintain the hot way of playing right now, Allie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Oladipo
even with Giannis back in the game.
So does that mean?
Well,
with Giannis in, Oladipo out, he's just got to keep doing what he does and be Jimmy buckets. I don't know necessarily how far that's going to take him, especially if Giannis is in and he's like, let's turn the ship around. But yeah. They're playing to win, and it's like, great, we want to see that. And to Caleb's point, you can't just get comfortable and assume like the team that's expected to win is going to win, or that you should flow into that and play into that. So yeah, I don't know, it's very interesting. I do think Bucks will come out of this. Well,
I'll say this just real quick. Buckets can do it for this series. If they win this series, they're done the next. He can't do it alone. They definitely don't have a shot at the title. It's just not deep enough, and he doesn't have enough energy. He would have to be using roids to be able to maintain that level to get through all the way to the championship. You know what I mean? Like, how many games you got to play? You know what I mean? And this is just the first round. So hell no. But he could do it for this series. He could stretch the Bucks to a 7th game and have them tired and like force them to play and really have to get it together in order to advance. That he can do. But I don't think he could continue throughout this the playoffs. No.
And and to be fair, as a team, they shot well. They shot over 54%. They shot almost 50% from 3-point range.
But that's because they had a good game. Duncan Robinson is not consistent.
20 points, yeah. 20 points.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he gave you 20 yesterday. He ain't gonna give you 20 the next game. I'll bet you that.
No. And let me ask you a question, Nigel. Is Oladipo going to be, like, again, he didn't start. He hasn't been starting. He's been coming off the bench. Is he going to be, does he mean that much of a difference, Oladipo, being the fact that he really wasn't the full Victor Oladipo anyway to begin with? Is it going to make that much of a difference on having him the rest of the series?
I'm going to start with this saying, I hate Miami. I can't stand them.
I hate
can't
them.
stand them.
Ever since Riley left.
I can't stand them. I respect them, but I cannot stand them. And this Miami gonna do what Miami gonna do, and they will. I believe. I hate to be the guy, but I will do this today on this pod. Is that Miami may be dangerous enough to beat the Milwaukee Bucks? They might be, and they might go a lot deeper than any of us think, because Miami keeps doing this, man. They keep making it to the Eastern Conference Final. They keep making these great runs against all odds. And to go back to the original question with Oladipo, is that going to be a big deal? Yeah, 1,000%. I don't think it's the biggest deal, but it does just go a little deeper into their bench now. It does just go a little deeper into their roster. Now he's gone and Hero's gone. This team is like, listen, I'm going to keep it comics. This team is like Hydra. Okay, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, Captain America, going against Hydra. And if you read the comic books, once you cut off one head of Hydra, which is like you eliminate one of their leaders, another one steps right back up. And this Miami team is Hydra. That's what's going to happen. I hope it does not, but I am scared. I'm scared that they're going to either take this series right down to the wire, or if they do end up being Milwaukee, that they're going to go even deeper into the playoffs, into the Eastern Conference, and maybe even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know, but I'm just telling you. I'm just going to say it here first. Again, I hope I am wrong because I'm going to end the way I started. I hate Miami.
I ever since Riley left with his note, I think it was an email that he quit with. I've hated him ever since. And partly because I know how good he is. That's what it is. But
I just have to say, I can't even fathom. I can't even make my brain won't allow my mouth to even form those two words together. Are you what? And I'm not talking about the team, the city itself.
Oh, well, the city itself is fantastic.
You just can't even say that. It's ridiculous.
Fair enough.
But I get your point, though. They are hybrid. I get your point.
I just didn't realize the word hate was a word that you guys say up north, Nigel.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
You actually hate
You're too nice for that. You're too nice for that shit, Nigel. Come on.
Just like a vampire, when the vampire looks in the mirror and is gone, it disappears. In this pod, I'm going to keep saying the word hate, and it won't actually go on the air for some reason because I'm Canadian. It will not go on air.
It'll come out as dislike.
Yeah.
I'm not fond of.
Yeah.
So Miami, do they have a shot to actually close the series out, or are they just being toyed with right now?
No, they have a shot. They have a shot. Absolutely.
I'll tell you who I think is going to be key, because Jimmy's going to do what Jimmy's going to do. I think Kyle Lowry, if he can step up and be that guy off the bench and play significantly off the bench, I think that could be one of those things that could be a difference maker. He's had a couple of good games in the series. But if he can be consistent, I think they can give Milwaukee a run for their money.
I think that's huge. The word consistency, especially with Kyle Lowry, that's the bigger deal. He can give you double-digit points, but he won't give you double-digit assists. He can give you double-digit assists, but he won't give you. He needs to put in those double-doubles because that's when he's the most efficient, man. Even if it's just 10 assists and like 12 points, you're going to see how much he's going to impact the rest of the team and the way the rest of the team flows, because his energy is wild like that. I'm telling you this because I know the guy, right? Shout out to our former Toronto Raptors. So, I mean, we had him in his glory days, but still, that's what they need from him, and I think they can excel.
There's also a part of me that thinks that once Giannis comes back into the game, Milwaukee's like, all right, let's play. Sure. And it could be the next 3 games shut out, and move on to the next round. It almost feels like a cat toying with a mouse to an extent, because you just don't expect. I don't think anyone expected Miami to really have a shot going into the series,
right?
Know? So, all right, next one. All right, Suns go up 3-1, beating the Kawhi-less Clippers 112-100. Nigel, what do they need? What can the Clippers do to get back into this?
I think they just got to keep playing the way they're playing, man. I don't think there's a lot of adjustments that this team needs. This has been one of the more exciting series that we've had the whole time. Nobody knew this was going to happen. I mean, maybe some people did, but this has turned out to be a real banger of a series, man. So I honestly think if they just keep focused, I think right now Westbrook is the actual key to this whole thing. Yep. I think he's the X factor to all of it. This guy is playing like not only like his contract depends on it, but his reputation depends on it. His smugness depends on it. His shoe deal depends on it. It's been amazing. So I think that if they just keep playing the way they're playing, this thing's gonna go the run.
He came here. He was supposed to be the 3rd or 4th option, really, right? And now you find him in game 3, game 4. He's the guy, and to his credit, he's playing really well. He's shooting the ball well. He shot 50%, over 50% last night. Or I'm sorry, the night was the night before when they, the last game in game 4. He shot over 50 from 3-point range in game 4. They were a deep team, but when you take those top 2 options off, the depth now isn't so deep. That they don't have the same depth. Caleb, what can they do to get back into it? Other than pray.
Yeah, they have to just get ready for next season. because it's not going to happen. The Suns have this now. 3-1 is they're not coming back from that. Kawhi isn't coming to help. If Kawhi was playing, they would have a shot. The fact that he let them down, and I understand there's family problems and all that, and I don't know what they are, so they could be something very, very detrimental and drastic and emotional. So hey, but it ain't bad enough to where you're not at the game, sitting there on the bench, because when it's real bad, your ass ain't even in the stadium. You know what I mean? I'm more in the arena. So there's that. But I'll say I think it's done. It's great. I'm happy for Westbrook. I'm happy to see that he at least could make himself look halfway decent, because his past 2 seasons, he was a joke. He became like a meme, like a laughing stock. So just to see him be able to contribute and be good, I think is more than a win, but I think it's done. I don't think the Clippers can do anything. Paul George is legit out. And Kawhi, has an emotional thing and a tweaked knee. So I think it's done for them. Get ready for next season. Figure out what you're going to do with your 2 big stars and get ready. Because Ty Lue is a wonderful coach. And I feel like, Paul George is injured, but when you're losing your star players for emotional reasons, and I get it, but I mean, damn, everybody goes through. I mean, I remember, and I'm just going to say, and I don't want to speak on him because I know it's a thing, but I'm going to take it off Kawhi. But I remember there's a Hall of Fame quarterback, what they used to call that man, Brett Favre, whose father died. The day his father died, he had a game against the Raiders.
Monday Nighter.
He did not play, and everybody would have been like, okay. He went out there and had one of the greatest games of his career ever.
One of the greatest games a quarterback has ever played ever.
Okay.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
I remember.
There's I understand there's things, but something like I remember, rest in peace, a man named Kobe Bryant, who was on trial for rape in Colorado and was flying out there to stand trial and then flying back to games averaging 40. That's when the Black Mamba was born. I'm talking about a dude was worried about going to prison for the rest of his life. It's still dropping 40. So there's people with emotional issues that can still show up to play. That's all I'm saying.
I tend to think it's more than knee. I think it's more than knee why he's not playing.
It's the physical.
I don't want to hear about that knee. I don't want to hear.
I agree.
Going in it, put on a knee brace, and you take your ass out there and play. Don't you, Kevin? No. You missed too many games. You talk about little knee. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna wear a shirt that says "Look at me." Did you see the shirt he was wearing? Said "Look at me." Ooh,
we're looking. And I think, and again, I'll give Stephen A. Smith the credit because I believe he said they only played in 3 playoff games together, him and Paul George. You can't build it. You can't build something special without.
You're making too much money.
Too much money.
And
just real quick, his sister was finally sentenced. She's got life. She's going to be doing life in prison through that 2019 robbery and murder at the Pechanga Casino Resort. That's what it was. She just was sentenced to life in prison.
No. I get it, and that's devastating. That's devastating. I understand, but you can play your game.
Yeah.
Kobe was on trial for his life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. I think he could have played. You know what I mean?
Listen, no one's to say how he should feel. I mean, to each his own, but
yeah, that's true.
You're getting paid that kind of money, though. You know what? You gotta. I feel like the same thing, though. Step up. You know what? There's a lot of people counting on you. You're not doing anything and again, like you said, you're there on the bench, so it can't be that emotionally draining.
And I'm like, yo, and I'm, hopefully I ain't speaking out of school, but I'm like, damn, if that's how the moves are being made, but you ain't cutting checks, you ain't making sure the fam's straight, where they feel like they got to go out and do some extracurriculars. You know, I mean, damn.
And the woman, I believe, was 82 years old.
Listen,
they robbed them. It was an old woman.
You're making hundreds of millions of dollars. You can't make sure. I mean, I don't know. If it was me, because I have 2 older sisters, if I was making hundreds of millions, they may have to do a little something, but they ain't gonna have to go out to do nothing like that. Or
maybe she didn't need the money and it was just on her bucket list.
And then if that's the case, then then you definitely should play, because you'd be like, that was what she wanted to do. I got a ball tonight. I got to take care of the rest of us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like regardless, if
it's
it
just
truly
a tragedy,
is anything,
I just wish he would play. I just wish
I don't think it has any. I don't think this.
I think it's
more than knee.
Yeah.
I think it's more than knee than anything else. Because again, if it was anything emotional with family, I don't think he'd have been at the arena.
He wouldn't be courtside. Yeah,
right.
Like
you'd be
right.
You'd be
that's what I mean. And if it's okay, but I mean, damn, man, shoot the knee up with court on, go get the brace on, go play.
Maybe he's like I mean, maybe it's a little both, right? And he's just like at this point, let the Suns have it. Like at this point, he might be like, what am I going to do? I don't have the energy to even try to turn this around. Yep. And I get it. It's not like the Warriors Kings. That's 2-2 where it's like, okay, every single shot matters more. It's like, you're right, Caleb, like 3-1, you really need everybody. And again, down Paul George, hey, maybe he's just like, it's a little bit of everything and I'm fucking done. And like, okay. And that's, but I get what you're saying too.
But don't
like,
blame the knee.
Your job.
And he's getting paid to
it's done.
That's what I'm saying. He's getting paid to say, listen, until the last second goes off on that clock. If I'm able to play, I need to play. No, and it's not about the money at that point. If you can play,
you gotta play.
You gotta play.
Like to me, it's just like and I understand it's different when you're on that side, all the pressure they have to deal with. I understand all of that. But it's like that's what you're getting paid to do. You got to show up for work. You know what I mean? Like, damn. But hey, more power to him. I hope everything, is good for him. Hopefully his knee gets healed up and hopefully they're back next season because this season is a wrap. They're going down next game in Phoenix and that will do it.
No, and hopefully whatever is ailing Kawhi, he could take care of that. And the league, listen, the league's a better place when he's healthy and he's playing games. Mm-hmm. Not just LA, but the league is so.
Yeah.
But all right, what do we got next? Warriors tie up the series on the Kings 2-2. I am so happy because, as we all know, I said they can even go down 3-0 and still have a shot at coming back and winning. I believe firmly that much in the Warriors. Now it did come down to Harrison Barnes missing that last second shot, but Nigel,
what was Curry thinking?
But Nigel, were you a little worried at the end of that game for the Warriors?
Girl, I was worried. I was worried, man. Because listen, Gene, you went out on a limb and you were like, "I'm okay with the Golden State going down 3-0," and I was in the back like, "Ooh, I want to support you, but I don't know." But I was going to support you because. Like you, GS, the State Warriors, they're my second favorite team. And man, it's again, just watching them. And to Caleb's point way earlier, it's like when you see Curry shooting like he does, and when he gets leveled up, then there's nobody that can stop his little shimmy. There's no way they can stop him from putting his hand in the air and keeping it there for way too long. There's nobody can stop him taking his mouth guard out and chewing it and looking all those fans in the eyes and be like, I am your hero. Follow me. I am your hero. Man, this team is always fun to watch. They're always fun to watch, man. Yeah. I don't care how much of a hater you are or how much of a lover you are. They are so fantastic to watch. And when everybody shows up, and that's the thing, they're not even a team that needs everybody to show up because somebody will show up and that person will get everybody to rally around them. It happens with that squad every time. So now it's like the Kings are I think that they're now just sitting beside themselves like we had this. And I think their confidence level obviously was dropping incrementally, but I think now it just dropped exponentially. I think they're going to have a real problem getting back up because the Warriors know who they are and they know what they can be, and they're just going to keep doing that.
Go ahead, Allie.
No, I was just going to say.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I usually agree with Nigel with a lot of these, but this one I'll have to push back on. I think the Kings are going to feel way more inspired because one, they're going home and they know the Warriors don't do good on the road. That they've just done it this season. So basically, every home team has won. So if you go by that pattern, the Kings should win the next game, and then the Warriors should win, and then the Kings should win game 7, right? True. But because they could have won. Had Harrison Barnes made that shot, we'd be saying something different. And I know if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But at the same time, it's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't, if they'd have lost by 10 and then I would get your point. But because they could have won, they had the ball with a shot to win. You gotta be confident in yourself. You have to, and you're going home. I think they're gonna be hyped. Not saying they'll win, because the Warriors are seasoned, like they know how to put it together when they need to. But I think the Kings are gonna feel real confident that they can win Game 5 at home. I really do.
There's always that thought process for young teams in the playoffs. Either A, they don't have the stomach yet for it because the games are bigger than they've ever played them before, or they're too young and naive to realize how big a game the game is, right? So, Ali, where do you think the Kings fall into? Do you think they fall into where they're going to tighten up a little bit because the games are so big and they get a little nervous, or are they too young and brazen and not really thinking about how big the game is to really let it affect them? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the latter. Like, they're going back home. Fox is playing great. It's 2-2. I think, if anything, I'm agreeing with Caleb that they're going to feel more inspired. They're going to feel more motivated. And look, Barnes is going to say, okay, shit. But it's not like they were up before, Curry created all that madness and Barnes shot anyway. So it's like, okay, Warriors are already up. Tonight, what Nigel was saying, the Warriors are the Warriors. They know who they are, right? So I think that, I don't know. There's so many pros and cons. Like, being on the road for the Warriors, con for sure. Being the Warriors, pro. It's like, Steph, being Steph, pro. But then the Kings, it's like, again, Fox playing great, home, the young team. I do think, to what you were saying, Gene, the young energy with the motivation of, we were so close. Had we just had that, I think is going to increase. I do think they're going to win this game. Not sure about the series yet. I really have to see how this next game kind of goes to really decide, because it could be anyone's game. It could be anyone's game, especially now with the Kings playing home. We'll see. Yeah, but this is exciting. Like, I could care less about Nuggets Timberwolves. Care less. This series, super exciting to me. I'm like done with the freaking East, like I told you. Except, of course, I am excited for the Knicks. I think they're playing well, and I'm proud of them. And the Suns. And that's who I want to see. And so I'm very interested to see what happens at home for the Kings, because I do think they definitely have what it takes to win this next game.
Clay's finally showing up. Poole finally showed up. He had a good game one, I feel like, and then after that, Poole kind of fell apart. But Clay and Poole actually had some good games yesterday. But my question is this: if you're Sacramento, is Barnes the guy you want taking the final shot, or do you want it to be in Fox's hands or some bonus hands? Who do you want taking that final shot?
Of course, you want it in Fox's hands, but as a team, you want whoever's fucking open. Whoever's open.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Oh, we're not allowed to curse. I've been cursing the whole time.
No. I don't. The F word is different than other ones, so that's my bad. But you want whoever is open. That's who you want, and they should be skilled enough to knock that shot down. That's what it is. And it's like, and not saying Harrison's not. He used to, well, actually, no, I was going to say he used to play there. No, he actually didn't. He used to play at the Oracle. They're at a new place now. So I'll give him that. But he was wide open. And as I always say, he's a professional. Yep. That's what you do. You should be knocking that down. But you missed. Okay. But like it was just that. I saw Steph Curry missed one of those shots earlier that they could have won had he made it. And it's Steph. You know what I mean? So it happened. So I'm not down on the Kings. Again, I think they're going to be confident. I think they believe they can beat the Warriors. I really do. They're playing that way. And I think that scrappiness, because they're young, because they're of the Instagram generation. You know what that means? One post, you forget, you're on to the next. It's like everything is just boom, 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 boom. It's so fast. So the loss is nothing to them. It's nothing. Like, they're back. They'll be ready. It's the Warriors. Can the Warriors not get up emotionally? Of course. But I mean, like, physically. Are they tired? You know, they older. They got a lot of miles on them knees. They've been doing it.
They do. So, Caleb, and we'll go around real quick. Do we think? So, what are we thinking at this point, midway through the series? Who takes the series and how many games at this point, midway through?
I think it's a 7-game series, and I'm going to go with the Kings. With no disrespect to the Warriors, the only reason why I'm saying the King, and that sounds just blasphemous, that Steph Curry is on a team that I'm saying could lose. It's only because of the home records. The Kings. It's the best out of 3 now. The other 4 games are done. It's just the best out of 3. And 2 of those 3 games are in the Kings arena. That's the only reason that I'm gonna say the Kings should win this. But hey, if Steph wins tomorrow, the next game they play, if they win, it's over. If the Warriors go up, if they win that next game, game 5, it's over because they're going to win game 6 in Oakland. And that
I agree.
San Francisco.
I agree. Game 5 to me is I think the winner comes out of whoever wins game 5 wins the series. I think that's my personal opinion. But I think I still have the Warriors, man. I have the Warriors taking it. I think the Warriors.
It's hard.
I got the Warriors winning the next 2.
Them. I've seen them do too many miracle things. It's just insane. So
it's hard to pick against them until they finally have been defeated and destroyed.
That's right. That's right.
Nigel, who do you got midway through the series? Who do you got coming out of the series?
I got Warriors, man. Warriors. And then you know what? Everybody's going to high five and have orange slices after.
Yeah, I love it.
I agree with you. Whoever takes this next one is going to take the whole series. So we'll see.
Well, you gotta give me a team.
All right.
I don't really put you on the spot.
I want the Kings because Kings. I don't know if that means I believe in the Kings. Like I wanted the Nets, but I said Sixers. So
it's a good. Listen, let's face it. It's a good
Kings.
series. It's a really good series with the back and forth. So maybe the best series that we got out of the bunch. So there's
definitely by far.
So all right, let's get into our another Celtics taking a 3-1 lead over the Hawks. To me, it's such a ho-hum. Who cares series?
Yeah.
Atlanta won a game. Is anybody impressed with Atlanta? Right. This is a 5-game sweep, right? Or a series.
Yeah, it should be a gentleman's. It should be a gentleman's. It should be. It looks like it's over 3-1. It's over. And they're going to Boston. Are you kidding?
Yeah. And Collins, listen, Collins, you got to do more than listen. John Collins is too important to that team. You can't put up 5 points and expect to even be remotely close. They're closer than they even should have been with Collins only putting up 5. Capella needs to do better than 10-7. You're a starting caliber center in the league. You need to do more than 10-7. I'm sorry.
Right.
If you're not going to score a lot of points, you need to have double-digit rebounds. Kind of like you said before about. I think it was Nigel said about Lowry. You can't just have a double-digit assist and a double-digit scoring. You're a starting caliber center. You need to get me a double consistently at that point.
Absolutely.
7 boards from your center.
Headbutting the ref.
And then we're gonna get to that too. The only thing I think that might have been the most exciting thing to come out of this game was we might get a Murray not ejection but a suspension because he bumped into the ref and had some choice words for it. I don't think it was revealed what was said yet, but Murray did have an issue and there was a little walking off the court, some stuff. Did anybody hear? Nobody knows what was said, right? Nobody heard anything. So
no, I don't know, but. See this. I'm sorry, just real quick. This is the thing. Murray basically had his knee reconstructed last year, and he's coming back in and playing. And I saw him wincing on his knee the other night while he was playing. Oh. Murray still in the lineup and playing. I know a guy named Dorn who won't play if he just
Roger Dorn.
If his leg just hurts a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
If it's gonna rain, he doesn't want to play because the rain might tweak it.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man.
And here's the thing too: is Murray still got years to go in this league where he's gonna want to earn contracts. Kawhi is pretty much on one of his last contracts.
Yeah,
he's pretty much. So there's that, and you know what? And one other point from this game too, and we'll go on to another game because again, not much here. Brogdon, 6 man of the year, did 6 man of the year things, 14, 4 and 4. So he's so key to that team. But you know who I think is very key to this team, and he doesn't get talked about enough, is I think Robert Williams III.
Yeah,
13. That's my point with Capella. Like you're a starting caliber center, you did 10-7, but Robert Williams comes off the bench and does 13, 15. And it's almost like consistently he can do that. So under the radar, so underrated, but such an integral part of that Celtic team is Robert Williams. I think what he does speaks volumes coming off the bench.
Without question, and to our Latin fans that are watching, he has a thing that they like to call ganas. It means desire. He has heart. He wants to play. That's the difference between Robert Williams. I'm telling you, desire is everything. You can have all the skill like Kawhi with no desire and you don't play. Then you can have people are like, he's okay, but you got heart. And so that allows you to do things, get 13 and 15 off the bench. And you're Westbrook where everybody's laughing at you. And then everybody's cheering because you have a desire, right? That changes everything. You know what I mean? So shout out to Robert Williams for that because he has ganas.
He's like I said, he's always such an integral part of the team. Again, is he the most important part of the team? No, they got Tatum, they got Brown, they got Smart, Brogdon, but some of the things that Robert Williams does off the bench, he's so needed. He's so important to that team.
I think that too, just to add to that, is like when you have a player like that coming off the bench, especially in the playoffs, and the fans want that player. It's like Taco Fall for when he was playing the whole season, right? The people wanted him, man. And what happened? This guy just excelled, and his numbers inflated because when you have everybody with you and willing you to do the things you can already do, but you haven't had the opportunity, then you end up being like Robin Williams III, and you do 13 and 15. And people and I mean the Boston fans are rabid. We know this, but people lose their minds, and the team is high-fiving, and everybody is on board. Those are the teams you don't want to play against in the playoffs, because those are the teams that will destroy you. They will take every fiber of your being, and they will suck you dry. Well, that's kind of weird. They will just end you, and there's nothing you can do. There's just pure frustration on your face, and that's what Boston is doing, and they're suffocating the Atlanta Hawks. This series is kind of weird because it's kind of boring. You know what I mean?
It's a very boring series. Listen, and Trae Young, listen, God help me, God love me. He's trying, right? 35-15.
You know what's crazy? I was going to ask you guys this because I hear the Trae Young stat and it don't matter because the season, it's over for them. Yeah. But do you guys think the NBA should go back to the old way they used to do it? The first round used to be the best out of 5. It used to be the best, and that it puts more impetus on the games. Like, do you think they should go back to that? I know they got away from it because they make more money with it.
Yeah, I would say that's what it was.
But the competition was better when it's the best out of 5, and then when it's a whack series, 3-0, boom, you're out. Like it's quicker. Nobody wants to keep watching the Nuggets in Minnesota.
Yeah, that series,
it's like you don't want to see it.
Oh my God, nobody cares.
That series is so bad.
That's what I mean. Like when it's those things, they should be best out of 5.
And I feel bad for Minnesota. And I feel bad for Minnesota because Minnesota's like, no, we're still playing. Like and Atlanta too. I feel bad for them because for them, listen, if you're an Atlanta player and you're a Minnesota player, in your head you still have a shot, right? Like you can't look at it like, well, we're playing Denver, we're down 3-0. Where let's just go home. You got to still play like as if you have a shot to win the next 4.
I'm talking about us.
And again, and that's what I'm saying. I, as much as I agree, because it comes to a point to do I want to see bad basketball? Like sometimes you're like, I just want to see basketball, but do I want to watch bad basketball when we could just as easily go to the next round and watch good basketball?
Right.
That's the thing. Unfortunately, I kind of like you said, it's a money grab, and the league will never give away games. If anything, they'll only expand on the playoffs. That's why they have the playing game. Which you know what. Going into the season, I kind of was like, why are they tweaking it? I actually got into it this year. Maybe it was because we were doing the show and you guys kind of talked me into it a little bit.
No, I like
one and done. And you know, you guys sold it on me this year. I actually enjoyed it this year. I think the reason why I didn't enjoy it previous years was because I looked at it like, why are we changing things? We've done it this way forever. Why are we changing it? And that was my thing. It was almost like the get off my lawn guy. But I turned up this year. I really did enjoy it, and I really did think it brought something to the league. The only thing is, what I didn't like is I don't like the layover for the top teams. I want to be able. I don't want to see them sit. And again, rest is needed after a long season. But you know, it throws you off sometimes when you don't play for like 5 days, 6 days. You want to stay in that rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, for an older team, maybe it's perfect, right? For a younger team, like for the Warriors, it's perfect not having to do a play-in. But for a team like the Kings, I want them already going. I want them to be, I want them to keep moving. They got the legs for it. So, but all right. So yeah, nothing. Move along, right? Nothing else to see here with this Atlanta series.
No.
One more game, and they're going to wrap it up, and we're going to be able to go watch the next round.
Yeah.
So there's that.
To answer Caleb's question, I don't know if any of us did. I think I'd like to see it go back to the 5.
I agree. I just don't think it ever will.
No, it won't. No money. No, hell no.
Money talks, and
they make way too much money. True. No. But for the fans, it's better. Because could you imagine if this Warrior King series was the best out of 5? It's 2-2.
Oh, this game would be.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, like you know what I mean? Like it heightens everything. That's all.
This would be a series that would have been a really nice Western Conference Finals.
Oh God, yes.
Could you imagine the young upstart team versus the old guard? And
that's right.
Like, there's so many storylines that you would have with this series that if this could have been the Western Conference Finals, the reigning champions, the old guard, and can the new guys, knock them off? It gives you almost that vibe of like the Bulls finally taking out the Pistons all those years ago and whatnot. So.
And in the same state, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even better. So, and not even the same state, the same part of the state. They're both up there in the Northern California.
True.
It's not even like it's LA or anything. So
that's so true.
That would be a fun, and that could and this could be a rival to watch for the next few years as long as the Warriors can still keep it together. So, but all right. So now we get into the next one, and Timberwolves avoid sweep, beating the Nuggets 114-108. And again, I think we've already kind of touched on it. Nobody really cares about these. But one thing for Minnesota, as good as Towns is, can he just stop fouling people? I mean, every game he's in foul trouble. I mean, he really limits
we need
what
something
he can do.
Exciting. We need some action. So
exactly.
I don't know. I'm not mad about it.
But he's always he shot 9. He only shot 9 times yesterday because he's on the bench half the game because he's in foul trouble. He could be so much more. He could be so much more dominant had he just watch the fouls. But other than that, Jokic 43 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Kind of Jokic doing Jokic things, right?
You know what's scary though
played well
about
last
this?
couple games.
You know what's scary about this? Not this series by any means, but the way that this may finish up is like, what is Denver going to look like in the next round? Just because of the way that they've been able to just kind of like this lull everybody to sleep with this series. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious what it's going to be like. Whoever they have to go up against next round. Are they going to be the Denver from the regular season, or are they going to be? Is this going to be a slow start because of this series? You know what I mean? Like,
do they get the Lakers? Do they get the Lakers next round? Why do I feel like they do?
You might be right. Yeah,
that would be a fun series, man. That would be a fun series. I'm the Lakers.
Yeah.
If that's what's going to come down to.
Yeah, I think Nuggets win that one though.
No, they would get. Oh my gosh, they would get either Phoenix or LA or the Clippers.
Oh, okay. They're gonna get.
They get Phoenix.
That'd be more fun then.
Yeah, that might even be a funner series. Actually, you might be right.
I would.
They get comes out of Suns and Clippers. Yeah.
Well, I don't even.
The Nuggets could beat the Suns.
Yeah, and vice versa though.
Totally.
What helps the Nuggets is the Nuggets are a deeper team than the Suns are.
They got a bench.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, and I think a lot of it too also depends. Can Michael Porter, can he stay healthy enough to be effective in these games too? He's got that bad back. But all right, let's talk a little NFL, guys. The Houston Texans, number 2 pick overall. They also got the number 12, so this is sitting pretty. What do you think? What are we thinking they're going to do with this number 2 pick? They do need a quarterback. Are they picking a quarterback at number 2, Nige?
Yeah.
You don't check. Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
I would say, you think do you think they move and pick a quarterback, or you think they stay at 2, get Stroud or Young, or whoever's left from that number 1 pick?
Yeah, I think with whatever's happening in terms of like, however things are going to shake down in terms of rumors and chats before the draft happens, I think they're just going to stay with the Jones and stay with their pick a quarterback, and then just move on. I just feel like it might be the cleanest outcome for them. And then we've seen a lot of teams in the past just pick the best person on the board and then figure it out later. And I feel like that might be the plan B for them. Mm-hmm. It's just like, just pick the top quarterback for them and then move on and figure it out. It's clean and dirty, just like that. That's it.
Caleb, what do you do if you're there with the number 2 spot?
I take the defensive tackle from Georgia.
Now, you can probably trade down and get him, or you may be able to get him at 12. Do you stay where you're at and take him at 2?
No. That's what people want you to think. Oh, because he got in trouble. Oh, nobody in the NFL cares about that. Mm-hmm. Ray Lewis killed somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, allegedly.
Whatever. The point is,
OJ.
Thank you. Nobody cares.
Allie,
Nobody cares. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You let that dude slip, all the teams will regret it. So let them act like that. Guess who will be there number 12? A quarterback will. I promise you that.
Yes.
So don't even worry about a quarterback. And And D'Amico Ryans is a defensive Hall of Famer. He's defense first. Mm-hmm. Get that guy. Then worry about your quarterback, because that dude is way more valuable. Because you can get a quarterback. Shit, you can get Lamar Jackson if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so it's not, you don't have to worry about the quarterback, but that dude is a once in generation. He's a generational type defensive tackle. You got to get, he's like an Aaron Donald. You got to get that.
You know, that's a great point. You know, they got 2 first-round picks this year. Do they work out a deal this year where they say, you know what, let's use our second-round pick on a defensive piece, maybe use that number 12 pick and next year's number 1? Allie, would that be a good idea to do? If
I was just going to take a quick pee break. But let me do that and come right back. And I got to be perfectly honest, though, with you guys. NFL is not like my first thing. Okay. So, I mean, I know about, obviously, Jalen Carter, like you said, got in trouble. Of course, he's still going to be drafted. Of course, he's going to still be a top contender I mean, I don't think he also gained weight. So it's like he's a little slower. He's a little like he's not as great as he was just a few months ago. So
this is off season though. Maybe this could be what he does in the off season. You never know.
But even with all of that, he's still going to be drafted.
Of course.
Listen, there's a lot of people probably. There's a lot of people that passed on Larry Tunsil, and they're kicking themselves for passing on Larry Tunsil a few years ago with the gas mask. So
yeah, 100%. Okay, but I will be right back.
You go have your pee break, Allie. We'll see you in a minute.
XOXO.
All right, Nigel. Does that make sense? What Caleb was saying, like maybe if you really want Lamar, maybe you don't draft a quarterback. Maybe you use that number 2 pick to get either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, and then package that 12th pick, maybe and another pick next year, maybe, and flip it over to Baltimore. Maybe looking at Lamar Jackson. Is that something that's a viable option? And it's something better than doing by spending a pick on a rookie, which is a question mark.
Right. All of those things are definitely, all those things are definitely possible. I think what I'm bumping my head up against is like, there's so much uncertainty in this year's draft in terms of like how many teams need how many pieces and how many things are like, it just seems like this year's draft in particular, there's a lot of moving parts, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass or just like make this up. I just feel like there's a lot of things happening, and like it's all trickled down from, Lamar's situation. And now I know we're going to get into Rodgers' situation in a second as well. Like there's just a lot of things when I'm talking about veteran quarterbacks and teams that need quarterbacks like bad to just stay afloat. And so I understand building your defense is a huge proponent of this offensive-driven league, but like to do all that legwork behind the scenes on draft day, I think that's what's going to be key in this year's draft. In 2023, I think it's been really hush, man. I mean, there hasn't been a lot to talk about in this offseason, and I don't know if it's just because we've been so focused on basketball, but there hasn't been a lot of NFL news. And I think because this year we're waiting for the other shoe to drop during the draft. I think the draft is when magic is going to happen. That's just what I think. But I don't know.
I agree with Nigel, but I think the issue that we're having with the NFL is because the draft is important, but nobody really cares because nobody's proven themselves. Like Jalen Carter is like the biggest name, really, pretty much.
He was the number 1 guy up until the incident.
Right, and they're talking about C.J. Stroud and also what's his name from Alabama? I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
Will Anderson?
The quarterback.
Bryce Young.
Yes, Bryce Young. We don't care. When is Aaron Rodgers going to be a Jet?
Yep.
And who is going to get Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
That is all anybody cares about.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's like that's more. And because there's no news on that, that's why the NFL is kind of like, because that's what the fans want to know. That changes everything. So I would say that's what the reason is. Soon as we know that the Jets are getting Aaron, now things can happen. Soon as we know what's happening with Lamar Jackson, is he staying in Baltimore? Is a team making a move? Then other things, now it becomes way more interesting. But I think until then, it's just going to be, the draft will come and go, and it will be that.
Even 3 weeks ago when Odell signed, it was like it made a little bit of a ripple in the like just a quick splash, but that was like what for 2 hours?
It was oh my God, Odell signed with the Ravens. What's happening with Lamar?
Yeah, that's
Like it's like it was like but where's Lamar? Like I'm telling you.
Well, I'll tell you what, for OBJ, he better hope Lamar stays because Hundley is not the same guy.
That's the whole point. But that's the whole point, I think, right? That was we need to get a little bit closer. The Ravens need to get a little bit closer to signing their guy, and that was the best way you can do it. It might implode. Who knows?
It could. Do we so we're going to talk about it necessarily, but since we were on the topic, do we see a Lamar? Do we see a Lamar trade?
I gotta go take this. I'm so sorry. I gotta go.
Caleb, we got you, man. Don't worry about it. We'll
Bye,
see you. We'll see you this week.
I'll see
you on Wednesday, Caleb.
Bye.
So, all right, I forgot Caleb had to do.
So if OBJ is there and Zay Flowers was going to visit Baltimore, he better now be going to Giants because they don't need him there. Then he's got
in Baltimore.
We
Zay
want
Flowers
him.
is.
We want him.
Well, Zay Flowers to me.
What did I walk into? I don't know. I peed and came back and started talking about anything.
We were talking. We ended up switching over to Baltimore a little bit, talking a little about Lamar Jackson. So my question is this: do we think there's going to be Lamar Jackson traded draft night?
Maybe.
If you had to put gun to your head, you had to go yes or no. What do you think?
Yeah.
You do think so? See, I'm still in the mindset that he's going to still be in Baltimore. I don't know why. If you asked me 3 weeks ago, 100% he's not going to be in Baltimore. He's out. I don't know where he's going, but he's out. I think he's more likely to stay now, and not so much because of OBJ. I just don't see the desire from a lot of other teams of, you don't hear the chatter really like you did. You heard a lot of Atlanta chatter at one point. You heard the Jet chatter at one point. You heard some Indy chatter at one point. You're not hearing the chatter anymore about whether or not he about whether or not he's going to still be there. So I feel like he's going to be there at least for this season. I don't know. I can't. Listen. It doesn't make sense to sit out if you don't get your deal, right? You play for the. I don't see it as such. So.
I'll stop you there, Gene, because all your reasons are valid, bro. But you got to remember, I'm a Steelers fan, so get him out. Like he's in my division, dog. That's the only reason I'm like, trade him. You know what I mean?
Would you take him on the Steelers?
No, I mean, I would.
Big
myself on my fantasy team. Yeah, I'd be like, for sure. But no, it's not. That's not possible.
He's not a Pittsburgh Steeler type quarterback. He doesn't fit the mold of the quarterbacks that you guys have had. Yeah. Let's we touched on it a little bit. Let's get into some more football news. Packers Jets resume Aaron Rodgers trade talks. This is gonna happen, right? I mean, we're not crazy. This is gonna finally happen. What do we think the compensation is gonna be? I personally don't think it's gonna be that first round pick. I think it's gonna be one of those second round picks, which are back to back. So really pick the one you want, take it. But what do we think? Do we think it's gonna happen, Allie? And what do we think the compensation is gonna be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the conversation is going to be. I just think he'll be back. I don't really have anything more to add. Like I said, I'm not a huge NFL person. So, who I'm with? I'm with Dom Lewis. Me and Dom Lewis are like the two, like not too tied into NFL, but we'll talk about basketball. We'll talk about soccer. The proper football. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, he's a weird dude, but if they want him, there he is.
I personally didn't want him in the beginning. I wanted Derek Carr. He gives me a headache every time he opens his mouth. He's so douchey. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers, but I at this point have no other choice to have a
personality is like not.
His personality does not mesh well with mine. We would not be friends.
But that's it, though. We're only talking about personality. We're not talking about his stats. You know what I mean? We're not talking about what he can bring to the team.
Patty, can you post his career stats? Just want to take another look at them.
Okay. That's a long list right there.
Yeah.
Listen,
he's old.
Yeah, he's old. Listen, look, a bunch of 4,000-yard seasons. I mean, a ton of them.
From 2018 straight. Like last season was the only season that he came 400 yards short, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had the one injury season on 2017, so there was that. But for the most part,
look at my guy's touchdowns every year. That's crazy.
Yeah, look at his 2020, 42.99, 48-5. I mean, those are like Madden numbers. Those are Madden numbers. You just don't see that. So now again, 2 years older, can he replicate that?
I think so because I don't know what kind of weapons you guys have over there in the Jets. I have to do a little bit of research on that, but
we got some good weapons. We got some weapons.
So I think coming out of this weird, I shouldn't call it weird because it's to each his own, but the choices that he made in terms of going dark and he didn't last long apparently. No. Apparently it's supposed to be a 2-week thing. He lasts like 2 days, but the choices that he's made and things that he said, I think just a fresh start in a different kind of color green may make him a different player, man. There's a lot of history that goes with the Jets too. So maybe he wants to be a part of that. Maybe he wants to be a part of that kind of legacy and do some real damage when he gets there.
Yeah, we'll see. He's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. So there's that. We'll see. Listen, at this point, I need it to happen because I have no other options. So I wasn't for it in the beginning. I wanted other options. At this point, I have no other options. I am getting close, though, to the point where I'm going to be like, Green Bay, you know what? You keep him. We don't, let's just figure something else out. I'm kind of getting tired of the antics in the waiting game. I don't know if it's the Jets or Green Bay. Someone's holding this thing up because to me, it's a no-brainer. You're not getting a first-round pick. You can get the second-round pick with a conditional one next year. I don't understand what the holdup is on this.
You didn't want him at the Jets, right?
I didn't want him in the beginning, but now I have no choice because there's nobody else really available.
Yeah.
Maybe Ryan Tannehill.
When is he going to pull the plug and say, all right, I've had a great career. I'm older now. Let me go do my LSD in the woods or whatever he's into.
I don't know.
Be done with it. Like what?
He's going to play at least one more year, and that's the thing. That's the reason why I didn't want him is for a couple of different reasons. The age. I didn't think the compensation would be worth giving up for a guy that you only can have 1 or 2 years. But here's what's going to happen: the same way we're playing a waiting game this year, we're going to play that waiting game again next year. Waiting for him to decide if he wants to play the following year. I don't think he's going to be like, I'm all in for 2 years. I think he's going to make us wait again next year. He's going to have another darkness retreat or whatever the hell they call these things. And he's going to decide, so meanwhile, we'll be waiting until May next year again. Or we get that to know if we're going to even have him the following year. So that's the part that irked me about the whole thing. That's why I wasn't really looking forward to it.
I think the opposite. I think if he signs, I think he's gonna do you right for 2 seasons. That's what I think.
I'll take that. But that also I can't give a first round pick. Yeah. Only way you get a first round pick for me is if you win the Super Bowl at one of those 2 years. I'll give you a first round pick.
Yeah.
That's gotta be the condition on it. I can't do it otherwise.
Jets win Super Bowl.
Nigel, it could happen. It could happen. It could happen. Listen, Toronto Raptors won a title. Why can't the Jets?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But we're leading up to it. The Jets aren't leading up to it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're gonna be dangerous. We're gonna be dangerous. Right. So
look out.
I want you to be. Like
listen.
Even though I've never been.
You're more of a Giant fan. You're more of a Giant fan. Your fiance is a Giant fan. I've never had anything really
for New York.
See, and I'm the opposite way. I shouldn't say that. I can root for New York, but it's hard for me to. I know a lot of my friends are Giant fans, and they're jerks about their team winning so much that it's hard for me to root for the Giants. So I can't root for the Giants. I actually dislike the Giants probably maybe more than any other local team that I don't like.
You're just jealous. It's okay.
I'm definitely.
You'll get better eventually.
Allie, I'm definitely jealous. No, 100%. I'm definitely jealous.
I'm kidding. Every season until this past season has for years has been a shit show. So don't worry. It's like.
But even with that, you guys have X amount of Super Bowls, and we've never sniffed it.
Yeah.
I get it. So, but you know what? Let's just move along.
Sorry.
There we go. The latest on the potential Cardinals trading down from number 3. If I'm them, listen. You're not switching quarterbacks, right? I think they need to be able to get more weapons for Kyler Murray. I personally don't think Kyler Murray's the answer, but I know they're not going to pull the plug on that just yet. They can't afford to. They just signed up to a big deal, so it would hurt that cap number. If I am them, I probably do try to trade down. If I don't move, I take one of whoever's left because Carolina's going quarterback. Obviously, we don't know what Houston's doing. They're going to possibly go quarterback or maybe take one of these defensive guys or move back. If I'm them, I take whoever is there at a Jalen. One of these two are going to be there, Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. One of those 2 guys will be there at number 3. I take whoever's left. If not, if I don't have an option, if I do have an option, I personally probably go with Will Anderson. I feel like you get that pass rusher that they wreck a game. Defensive tackle is important, and Jalen Carter is an exceptional defensive tackle, but I don't think he wrecks games like Will Anderson will either wreck games for you. I'd probably go the Will Anderson route. Nigel, what do you think? Are they trading down or are they staying?
This is really interesting because they're a team who's just like Murray just implodes, right? Like he just when push comes to shove, the second half of the season, it's baffling at what happens to either his mindset or is it the offensive scheme? I don't know what's happening. All this to say, I think they do stay at 3, and I think they do pick up another QB, man, or whoever. Yeah, like you said, whoever's left. I think they just need to stay as high as they can and pick the best piece that's on the board, because right now they're a team that's really dysfunctional, that has huge promise at the beginning of the season, and then the second half they just can't finish out. So I don't know what that is for them, if it's just straight offensive weapons or an O-line or whatever the thing is, or if it's just straight up quarterback. I don't know, but I do think that I think they're going to stay there, because I don't see the value in trading down unless they pick up, like to your point, pick up at 3 and then pick up the best asset and then trade for either a couple players, or if they trade for another for more draft picks later on in the rounds, so then they can get more essentials or more just kind of like above the bar players in places they need. I don't know, but something's got to give, because that team, if they show up like they did last season, this season, they're going to start bad and they're going to finish bad.
I agree. I agree with that. What do you think, Allie? I know you're not too keen on Arizona.
I mean, Cardinals are a trash team. So I mean, they need all the help they can get. I don't think.
Sorry, Arizona, you guys are trash.
Yeah, no, but not the Suns, so that's good. Yeah, so I don't think they need another quarterback. So I don't know what's in their best interest. Obviously, that's out of my realm of comprehension, but they need to change something up, because clearly, and the people want out. DeAndre Hopkins wants out. Buda Baker, right, wants out. Like
Buda Baker wants out too now. Yep.
So I mean,
I think they're negotiating with him now to stay, but he has stated he wants to trade. So.
Yeah. So I don't know, but whatever they do, I hope it helps them to become a better team next year, because they really can and should only go up from this past season. Sure.
I agree. And they're in a rough division right now, so it's time to just rebuild. If you're going to stick with that quarterback, which you really at this point you have to, you can't afford to get out from under that contract. Try building around him, and maybe the extra weapons, extra help makes him better.
I think so. Yeah.
Buccaneers pick up the 5th-year option on Tristan Wirfs. Not surprised there. He was a pretty quality, one of the better offensive tackles in the league. Was really integral part on that line during the Super Bowl run they had. They was Tristan Wirfs. Not surprised. Anybody got a comment on that?
Not really. I mean, Bucks are the
talent.
Bucks. Yeah, who knows?
It's a good idea. Makes sense.
Good for the Bucks. They need to start keeping building up that line for whoever that ex quarterback's going to be anyway. He's an integral part to that, so keep that up. Jalen Carter's draft stock. We actually touched on that a little bit, so we won't go into too much depth. But obviously, he was the number 1 consensus pick before the number 1 guy in the draft before the incident. I hope that it's he wasn't drinking. From everything we gather, he wasn't drinking. He was just racing with them. Not just, I shouldn't say just, but he was racing. But he wasn't drinking, supposedly or allegedly. I hope this is more not so much. Like, did he not come forward right away because he was just being a punk kid about it? Or was he just a nervous kid that got scared and didn't know what to do? Either way, it's not acceptable either way, but I could understand the latter and hope that it's more the latter, that he could actually correct that mistake, the mistake that he made. And you'll have time to hopefully do that.
I hope it's not a peek into this other side of him. That's
pretty much what I'm saying.
Flaggy. Yeah. Exactly. I agree with you that I hope it's just, he's young. He made a stupid mistake, like we've all done to some degree. And hopefully it's not what this like hidden kind of part of him that is obviously very much not attractive, and one wanting to build your team and put him around these top, So
he's going to be a cornerstone of somebody's franchise. So you want to make sure that it's not an issue that he's just a bad guy, that this was a kid that made a mistake, and not to minimize the mistake. It was a tragic mistake. So not to minimize it, lives were lost, but you hope that this was just a more mistake, that a kid just got scared and didn't handle it the right way, that he can grow, and then hopefully he can grow from it.
He better. He doesn't have a choice.
100%.
Career life is done if not.
So The latest on Saquon of the Giants contract negotiations. I believe his quote was, "It is what it is," or something. What will happen will happen.
Mhm.
Something along those lines. It's pretty much the same thing. Allie, does this deal get done finally? Do we get a long-term deal, or is he going to be playing on that?
At this point, probably not. Because he's just getting older, and I don't feel like there's long contracts for running backs. Like I don't see that being something that after 2 times, $12 million contract, I believe it was, offered him twice. And I understand the thinking of like, let me step back, say no right now, it's going to come my way again. But listen, it might not. And yeah, it is what it is, because he probably realizes, shit, I should have taken the first offer, maybe the second offer. But like now I almost like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't see it happen because it's already been 2 times he's passed over, and because of his position and because of his, age, he is getting up there. I think the prime kind of cap for running backs is what, like 26, 27. So
pretty much, yeah. Depending on,
so
and he's already got a knee injury under the belt too. He's got a major knee surgery.
I see them potentially going with someone who's a bit younger, who's a bit more like, I mean, listen, obviously we all know him. He's great, and he's great with what he's done with them. But I do feel like if they're going to move forward, they already offered Saquon twice. He's turned it down. Hey, let's get someone younger. Let's get someone who's like 100%. Yes, this is where I want to be. And this is the team I want to build with. And I kind of hope for that. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. What do you think, Nigel?
He's such a staple to that franchise. Like, it's just, and also to a lot of people's fantasy franchises, including mine. So it's like, I don't, so my kid's crazy out of focus here. So I don't mind whatever happens, in my opinion. I think it's tougher for the Giants. It's tougher for your kids, because I don't know what you guys are going to do without that kind of a piece to your puzzle. Yeah. Like, he is such a huge part of your offense that it is going to be wild when that change happens.
Does Daniel Jones?
It's gonna happen eventually.
Does Daniel Jones? You're a little, he's a little blurry, but
yeah, I'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But Daniel Jones, do we see a regression from Daniel Jones if we don't get to keep Saquon there?
A regression? No. I mean, obviously he needs, like, his weapons are vital to him doing his job.
It sounds like he has receivers there
on every team. Yeah. But I don't know if we'd see a regression with what he brings to the table necessarily.
What do you think, Naj?
I think I'm still blurry. I'm so focused on this. Sorry, I completely missed that last point, man. I just want to fix my face.
I hear you. Do we see you see when you do that up close? Your figure looks not blurry.
Yeah. Continue. All right, there we go. All right, let's go. Let's hit it. My powers are back. Okay.
All right. So regression. Do we see a regression? Do you think we see a regression from Daniel Jones with no Saquon?
Oh boy. I have 2 answers to that. My gut says yes. And my second answer is my little bit more educated answer is I hope not. I would love to see him step up, because I feel like Saquon, again, is because he's such an integral part of that offense. I want to see what happens when he doesn't have that elite back behind him, when he doesn't have that elite blocker, and has to really make these tough decisions and not wait on or not rely on the wings, on the outlets beside him, and really goes for yardage. So I hope not, but I think he will.
I kind of think he will too. But you know what? Again, he seems such like you don't hear anything bad about Saquon. He's a quality member of that organization. He's a quality member of the league. You want good people in your locker rooms. I hope they get a deal done. He needs to be in New York. I think although he did grow up a Jet fan. I believe his father has a Jets tattoo, if I remember correctly.
Oh wow.
So but you know what? He needs to stay. He needs to stay with the Giants. And hopefully they get that done. One last piece of NFL news. 5 NFL players suspended for sports betting. 2 are are suspended indefinitely for betting on the NFL, not just sports, but on the NFL. And then 4 of them are Lions. One is a Washington Commander. Are we judging them too harshly? Should they be allowed to sports bet? I mean, they are in ways. Their problem is they did it on team property, and then I believe that was the where it was the issue. But are we being a little harsh?
You got to take that into account. Exactly. It's like I understand. Am I doing anything that at my job that would, that I can do at home that would be safer? You got to where do the lines kind of start and stop with that? Because I get it. It's legal and everything, but it's like when you're in it, that's tough. That's really tough to navigate, especially when you're in it. But then you do it on the property. There are a lot of levels to this. And I want to say it's a little too harsh, but is it? Maybe it's not. Honestly, that was stupid to do, I feel.
So we got Quintez Cephas and CJ Moore on the lines, both indefinitely suspended because they bet on the NFL. Now we got Jamison Williams and wide receiver Jamison Williams, wide receiver Stanley Berryhill, also from Lions. They got 6 games for betting on their on the mobile app on Lions property, not on NFL games. And then I believe also definitely suspended for betting on the NFL was Shaka Toney, defensive end from Washington. I'll tell you what, it's one of these things where it's like if the rule is silly or not, it's the rule, so just don't do it, right? You're blessed enough to be part of the brotherhood of the NFL. If they say you can't gamble, then you don't gamble. Again, I believe the rule is they are allowed to. They just can't do it on team property. So if that's the case, you can't just wait 10 minutes to your, whatever it is, to your home.
You need more money?
What do we do? Yeah, you guys
sell your shit.
You guys have already touched on amazing points. These guys make millions of dollars regardless of where they are on the depth chart. What are you doing? I would give. I was going to say a body part, but I don't because I need it to play the game so I can make the millions of dollars. But you guys are making millions, man, and you're playing for franchises that are coming up. Like Washington, for some reason, the Washington football team, they're always in the mix. The last 2 or 3 seasons, they've been in the mix, which is mind-blowing to me, but they've always been in the mix. Detroit is on their way up, man. Yeah, last season didn't really pan out the way that I wanted to, but they're coming up. What are you guys doing? Now,
especially an integral part like Williams, too. Jameson Williams is a big portion of why we have outlook on that offense to be super, really, really, really super this year.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you know what? Like your point, Gene, you can't wait 10 minutes or however long it takes for you to walk from your locker to your car and in the car maybe, or just driving off. Like you can't even just do it like that, man. Like I don't understand what we're gambling on if it's so inherent in their psyche or it's just something that they just have to do. I'm not saying that they're addicts because, again, I don't know them. I'm just saying I don't understand. You can't have your boys over for a barbecue and do all your betting there in your place. Why? What was so urgent about the games that you had to gamble on that you had to do it right at that moment on team property?
Yeah. And again, if it was that you can't gamble at all in the NFL, you're not allowed to gamble on baseball. But because again, that could even be maybe I don't have the fine definition of the rule. Even if that is it, you're getting to do something that millions of people have the dream of doing. You have now been able to do. It's really a small thing to ask. Is that they say, hey, you just can't gamble. Whatever you want. You can't gamble.
Absolutely, people can't even dream of making a fraction of what they make, gambling or not. Right? You win something great. It's still not what they make any.
For them, it's not gambling for the money. I think it's gambling on the thrill of gambling. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I don't think it's the money thing for these guys because, like you said, they already have money. What can they make? What can they make off of a bet on FanDuel, right? But I think it's the thrill of the bet. It's got to be at this point for these guys.
So go to the casino.
Go to the casino. Go play blackjack or something.
Yeah, you're in Detroit, man. There's tons of casinos right there.
There you go. Right. So that's that. And then a couple more things we'll touch on real quick before we get out of here. We're about to get out of here. All right, Victor Oladipo tears his patella tendon out for season. Happy trails. Hopefully you come back next year stronger. I'm assuming he's going to miss some time. It's so late in this season. I'm assuming he's going to miss a little bit of time next season. I can't see in any way he's going to be ready for the regular season. It's a shame because he just came off of a bad injury. So, he's one of these quality, really great player. I feel bad for him and the Miami Heat losing. Listen, I hate the Heat just like Nigel does. But I do feel bad for the player. You know what? All you want to do is you want to go out and play the game that you loved since you were born. To have 2 devastating injuries in a row like that without really ever getting back into full swing, and then you hurt yourself again. I feel bad for him. From all accounts, it seems like he's a really quality individual as well. So hopefully he gets that knee right, and we can see him next season. And then lastly, Embiid has a 50-50 chance of being ready for the start of round 2. If he's not ready, 76ers, they're in trouble.
I don't think they're in like the perennial definition of the word trouble, but I do think it adds a lot of pressure to the squad.
Who would they play next series?
I think
they play Boston or Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like
which will be Boston.
Yeah, which will be. I mean, they're
in trouble. That's a tough series with a healthy Embiid.
Yeah. That's a problem. So again, we hate to see it happen. Obviously, it adds to the drama, but I hate to see any kind of personal injury like that. Just like Oladipo, I feel horrible for that guy. Horrible, because he's one of those dudes that just night in, night out, and no matter if he's coming off the bench or starting, he's just quality. So having Embiid 50-50, that's tough. Because then when you're 50-50 going into the second round, what does that mean for the rest of that round?
Yeah.
Like you're 50-50 going in. So
also shows you how important the sweep was in this first round to get him some rest.
It's big. So we'll see. But I rather see him back. I love when the stars are playing.
Ali, I know how you feel about Embiid right now. But
it hurts so bad.
Do you want to enlighten us?
I would never wish or want anything bad, especially injuries, of course, on anybody. But yeah, it would definitely be more exciting to have him in. But also it's if they're going up against Boston, man, they could use everyone. They need everyone for sure. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be big for him to be out. For even the starting, game, because that kind of sets the precedent. So we'll see what happens. I really don't know much of his injuries. I mean, I saw him play, Thursday, and then all of a sudden Saturday he was out. So I don't know what happened in that span of a day, but if it's obviously serious and there's a 50-50 chance, then hopefully he gets the rest he needs, and hopefully he is back for the second series.
I think for the sake of just want to see good basketball, I want to see him back just to see a good series. I don't want to see it mishandled, or I don't want to see a mismatch for the sake of mismatch. I guess in Boston, you want to
feel like it's fair. Like you want to feel like like everyone's in. They truly Boston won with Embiid in like that. Like 100%. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to have any second guessing of like, they only won because Embiid was out, and especially those freaking Philly fans. They can be so like
obnoxious. And dirty and disgusting. The only thing that comes I feel like I say it every episode. The only good thing that comes out of Philadelphia is freedom and cheesesteaks, baby. Freedom and cheesesteaks.
Freedom. But do we have that here? I don't. I'm a woman.
I mean, it depends. It's state to state. It really is. Nigel.
I'm staying put. I'm staying in Canada, man.
I feel about what they hear in Canada.
I'll just take the cheesesteaks. It's fine, whatever, I guess.
But guys, all right, let's get last words, man. Allie, what's your last word of the day?
I'm going to Canada.
Going to Canada. Nigel,
I'm freaking moving to Canada. That's my last words of the day.
Universal healthcare, baby. Nigel, last words of the day.
Well, I guess I'm putting Allie up until she can get on her own 2 feet when she comes up here. So, by the way, it snows in the spring here. So,
I'm saying I love New York.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Gene, what's your last words, bro?
My last words are, hey, there's some great basketball tonight. We got some good game 4s. Bucks, Miami, even better, Memphis than LA. I can't wait for that one, especially.
Yes.
So go enjoy those games, guys. And for Nigel, Ali, I am Gene. Have a great today, a better tonight, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you Thursday. Peace.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.